Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You have found bruTusaka Gaming. Today on Scrap Mechanic, I got a challenge to make a track car. So I started playing around with suspension ideas on what I could do to try to make that happen, and I came up with this. Let me extend this out real quick. So the idea here, instead of having the high-profile suspension going up and down, I've got it laying horizontally, as you can see. And it works pretty good. I mean, you can set different resistances on these guys. Okay, it was working. What's going on now? There it goes. Now you can see it shrinking in. And see how it just kind of shrinks a little bit, but it still maintains its shape. So yeah, I think this is what I'm going to use for my front and rear axles. Go ahead and time-lapse this and see you guys on the other side so you can see how this turns out. Got a lot of ideas, so we'll see what I can implement and what is just too much for me to try to do. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to time-lapse this and see you guys on the other side. Alright everybody, this is what I came up with. As you can see, I used a lot of the polygon pieces to hold it all together. Definitely looks like a formula car or a track car, something you'd see going really fast around corners and such, especially with these dips here and how I've got everything organized. I did not paint the seat. Alright, hold on. Yeah, here we go. I bet I didn't hit the bottom either. Not too bad. Not too bad. But I still gotta paint it, because this is not good enough. I went ahead and chose the darkest blue that they had just to see what it looked like, especially on a creation like this, how everything would kind of go together and how it would look, really. Because I never used this color before. I think it looks pretty good. Well, let me know in the comments what you guys think about the color. It's pretty straightforward. WASD controls. Only bad part is that when just trying to drive normally like this, it tends to pick the front wheels up off the ground, so you don't really get a whole lot of turning happening. As you can see, unless you're going backwards. Going backwards, it turns pretty good, but all that power that we've got in the motors is pulling up. Number one, opens the hood for you. Number two is going to engage thrusters to keep everything down. Keep you on the ground a whole lot better and make it a whole lot easier to turn as well. As you can see, it just goes now really fast. It doesn't really like the bump so much. It kind of gets a little bit of air even with the thrusters pushing everything down, but I think it does pretty good overall. It's got a really wide wheelbase, which helps a ton. Getting everything lined up or keeping everything right. If you get too much air, this is what happens. But I've got the thrusters on here set up so that if that does happen, it's not a horrible deal, it's not a huge deal, because the front ones are going to power down more than the back ones are, making you spin and just pushing you back down to the ground. And as you can see, that suspension flex is pretty good when we stop and go like this. It's not hard to stop, even with the thrust on. And it just goes and goes. See, even when you get upside down a little bit, it just kind of floats you back around and puts you back on your wheels. I'll be honest, that was a happy side effect. I did not intend for that to happen, or originally did in fact happen. It was just something that I wanted to keep the front wheels down more than the back wheels, so I put a little bit of force on the back wheels, but a lot more on the front. And I have a happy side effect of this, where you do massive front flips and land them. Seems pretty consistent too about landing on its wheels. And even when you get a bunch of air like that, it still just kind of flips around until it lands back on its wheels. And it really does not like these bumps. Even with all that thrust in the front, it's just not liking it. Kind of makes me wonder how much differently this thing would perform if it was on a flat map. Because, you know, track cars, or formula cars at least, they don't have a whole lot of these random bumps and hills everywhere. It's just kind of big flat track. So I might do that. Go ahead and hop out and save this thing on a lift real quick. Call it a track. Yeah. Not a race car. Because that was a challenge. And I think this thing would be really, really good around a track. Let me fill this out real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this one and load up into a flat world, and I'll see you when I get there. Here we are in a flat world. Gonna go ahead and see how this works. Jump up in here real quick. It threw me off because it's a new world, so everything was in the wrong place on here. But yeah, still doesn't want to turn very well unless you got these thrusts on. But once they're on, oh yeah, it's handling the bumps way better on a flat world that's not so flat. You can see just how much it's bouncing around on here and how much issue I had when I tried to make a dragster for this course, or for a flat world. I don't know if anybody's created a racetrack or anything on the workshop. I haven't looked yet. Might go ahead and do that and actually give this thing a shot on a more flat surface, because I know this flat world is not flat at all. But yeah, not flat at all. Works good forward and reverse. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you think of it. I think I like it pretty good. This has been bruTusaka Gaming, and I'll see you next time.